Manifesting. Megan had a question if I could give specific examples. There's a lot of examples that I can give for that, but we'll talk about the one that happened this week. So I made $1,600 this week, and that was directly correlated because of manifesting. Because like in the previous live, I was talking about how I have been personifying wealth, success, clients, and magic. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate it. It was awesome. It was great. For y'all that are just not joining in, I'm sharing my story about how I made $1,600 this week. So self-limiting beliefs and catastrophizing and anxiety and all those things keep you stuck on timeline loops, because what's happening is you are actually self-prophesizing, and then you're getting the same results, right? That's where people get stuck, and they're having a hard time manifesting, or you're trying to manifest and it's causing you stress and anxiety because you're like, oh, how and when, and you're just pushing it further away from you, because what's actually happening is your central nervous system does not see that manifestation as safe. It sees it as danger, because it's aggravating when you think about it. And so you have to reset the energetics, like the foundations underneath your manifestations, in order to get them to come in. That can be with anything. That can be with love, that can be with money, with a house, a car, whatever it is. But that's why sometimes we're not having those things come in, because we're so hyper focused on stress and anxiety, right? So I was like, hey, I'm going to really buckle down on this and I'm going to like due diligence shift my energy field. So the first thing that I did was I said, I'm going to have an energy shift. I am ready for a frequency upgrade, and I'm telling my energy field that I want one, and so I'm going to receive one, and I did. So you have to be very confident in speaking over yourself sometimes, right? Because you're the creator of your reality, and you're in charge of your energy field. So it does what you tell it to do, but you have to say it with full confidence, okay? And then I would, when you are trying to take action steps based from fear and anxiety, you get action-based results, right? That match that fear and anxiety, okay? Oh, thank you all for liking the live. This is why I'm such a huge proponent on personifying your next higher self, because if you just try and take action steps based off of your own consciousness, you're just gonna get the same thing. So you have to learn how to raise your consciousness and be able to shift up a gear and get in that state and embody your higher self in order to talk back to yourself in the present with the correct action steps to take, because they're going to take different action steps than you would, because you're sitting in fear and anxiety. Okay, not like fake it like you make it. This is different. This is the quantum manifestation is not fake it till you make it. That's a good thing that has helped me a lot in a lot of years. Okay, that helped me get to a lot of places. But this is something completely different. Oh, thank you for saying that about my makeup. This is I am birthing my higher self into a consciousness form and giving her a personality, and I'm talking to future me. I'm not talking to some etheric whatever out here. Like, I'm literally talking to me that has the things that I want, and she's giving me the directions of how to get there. But I have to spend time in meditation and speaking with her throughout the day in order to keep that propelling forward and to give her more life. And what ends up happening when you do this, you start becoming her or them or him, right? A little bit at a time. Like, first it's 1%, then it's 5%, then it's 10%, then it's 15%, then it's 20%, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you are that person. So I took it a step further because I can do that very easily with my higher self. Okay, so the way I got to $1,600 this week is by doing that same application and doing that with wealth, success, magic, and clients, and going in every single day and asking each one of them for advice individually, because they each give me different advice. And they're all higher self versions of me. And so what I'm doing is I'm shifting my energy internally to someone who already has those things, so that I can hold that down throughout my day when I'm traversing through my 3D a lot easier. So stress, anxiety, and fear aren't really affecting me like they were in the past because I'm embodying future me that already has those things. So it's like, why would I be worried about that? So you're talking to future you every day. I talk to future me every day, but then I took it a step further. So I've learned how to shift up into my higher self and talk back to me. But now I'm doing that with those 4 consciousness bodies inside of me. So what I did was I said, okay, wealth, success, clients, like a calendar full of clients, and magic, what do they look like? Like if I go into my mind's eye, and I don't see images, just so people know this, like this is different for everybody. I don't see anything in my mind's eye because I have clear cognizance and clear sentience. I feel things, so like I can actually feel what they look like. It's very difficult to explain. so if you don't see images, you don't have to see images to do this. Oh hey Dara, hey. But I go in and like wealth looks like a certain person. If you can personify frequencies and make them look human, you can actually speak to them a lot easier. You can do that with anything. You can also do that with your mental body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, and your physical body. Because I have clients that come to me sometimes that have like wild stuff going on with their physical health. And I'm like, oh, did you know you can actually personify your physical body? Like the DNA and the cells. And you can actually speak to your body and actually heal them as a different consciousness form. It's wild. Okay, but you can do that with anything. You can do that with like love. You can personify them as a person. You can do it with any frequency that you want, or luck, anything. Okay, you'll end up with a whole crowd of people in your head. I do have like a whole, because I do that with my inner children. I do that with all my past versions. They're all personified. That's how I speak to them and heal them. That's how I have like radically shifted my whole entire life. Because you're talking to different parts of your consciousness and your subconscious, and it's much easier to heal yourself that way. And so, since I'm going in every day to speak with them, kind of before I get my day started, I get my energy right in the right frequency. So then I started pulling in like way more clients. Because I'm feeling more magical, I'm feeling more whimsical, I'm more tapped into the higher etheric planes. And I'm also like standing much more in my confidence and direction and like sovereignty and fortitude. And it's made like a huge difference in my content. Okay. And then I just started having people booking sessions back to back to back to back to back. And then all of a sudden I went to go check like what I had made for the week, and it was $1,600. And that's because I was embodying future me that was already at that point in her life. And I did that within a week. Right, so when I say these things of like, hey, 3D manifesting works, but it takes a long time. You can quantum shift very quickly and change your circumstances and your reality like super quickly. But you have to have these foundational like inner knowings of how to do the things. Right? And so that's why I'm always talking about them constantly. And I feel like sometimes, not y'all, but I feel like sometimes like people discount being able to do those things. I'm like, this is a result of that. Not that money is like the most important thing in life, right? But that's how we do exchanges here in the 3D plane. So I mean, it does allow you to be able to do a lot of things. I love your content. Oh, thank you. I want to get an Akashic record reading soon. Oh, absolutely, yeah. You just let me know and then we can set one up. Do y'all have questions about the things that I was saying? I would love to answer them if you do. And also, it's not just about the money either. Like, I love doing sessions with people. Like, that's, and you know what? I was also, there's other things that I've done to shift that. One is like going on a 3 or 8 hour walk every day. You cannot shift up into those higher states of consciousness if you have stress hormones and cortisol running through your body. Like, it's very difficult to do that. You have to learn how to dispel that from your field in order to be in a calm enough state to be able to shift your brain waves in order to connect to these higher versions of yourself. And so I made a commitment, like, I'm going to really do what I need to do in order to be where I want to be at, right? Do you know about the test on the emergency systems today? My son was telling me about that, but I'm not really sure. He said that everybody's iPhone's supposed to be going off at like 2 o'clock or something. So I'm not sure. If you know, I would love to hear, because I have no idea. But taking care of your physical body, TVs, radios, tablets, oh, it's everything. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up when I get off of here, for sure. But taking all phones, radios, and TV at 2:20 EST. Oh, hey Tanya, hey, good to see you. Yeah, he was telling me about it. I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you haven't heard? And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That's interesting. Okay, apparently they may play a frequency that could mess with us. No. Listen, you are only susceptible to what you allow your consciousness to let you be susceptible to. Okay, that's where I talk to people about lower dimensional beings and entities and hexes and curses and all that stuff. That stuff cannot affect you unless you allow it to affect you. Like, you have to you have to say that over yourself and say, like, I don't care what's playing at 2 o'clock. That's not affecting my energy field. Because when the thing that allows that to seep into your energy field is you thinking, I'm not talking to you necessarily, but that's what fear paradigms are. Any type of fear paradigms. It's your consciousness allowing those things to enter. So you have to be very strong-minded and say, like, that's not bothering me. Okay? Like, they can play whatever they want. That's not entering my field. Okay? So for everybody in here that's nervous about that. Because we don't want, yeah, that's not happening to me. Okay? But that's how fear paradigms get you. Is because you've got that circulating in your auric field, and it allows holes into your truths and beliefs and values. That's why you have to be mindful about, like, that's why when you go on your spiritual awakening journey and people are watching the news, why they stop watching the news, because the news is actually just like a whole bunch of corporations that are making a ton of money from fear. Okay. They stop watching that because what you place your energy and attention to is what you get more of. So if you're watching fear paradigm things, then you will experience fear paradigms in your outer reality. That's what we're talking about right now with the alarms, and how you literally need to say over your body that that's not affecting me today. Period. I don't care what they play. Okay? Because the only thing that will affect you is you allowing your consciousness to feel that fear, and then it will. Right? It's much like commercials on TV that are constantly talking about health related things. That's seeping into your consciousness, and it will create disease within you. Okay. I know, I totally understand. I'm not saying not to do what you feel, because this is my experiences and my perspectives, right? So everybody needs to do what is in resonance with your own energy field and what you feel comfortable with, you know what I mean? So I totally understand what you mean. Can you go over what channeling feels like? Are you still in here, Dara? With your question? I feel you're the only person who has given any useful advice. Yeah, I might make a video on that, because there's probably a whole lot of other, not you, but there's probably a whole lot of other people that are like nervous about that. Um, channeling. Channeling feels different depending on where you're at on your journey and how far deep you are into channeling. Like when I first started channeling, it was very confusing because it was like there were so many different voices trying to speak with me, and different types of spirits, and different spirits and beings and things have different energy signatures. We definitely need positive voices. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So it was confusing, and it just felt like kind of like muddled up channels. And there's different types of channeling. Like there's channeling where you are verbalizing what a higher self or another spirit guide or something is saying. And then there's a type of channeling where you can channel, let me change this music because this is distracting me. Hold on. Okay. There's a different type of channeling where you can channel different energy forms, like Reiki is channeling and light language is channeling. You can also channel like crystal healing. You can channel different spirit guides type of healing. So I used to do that. I used to channel like Mary Magdalene and Ganesh and Kali and Joan of Arc, and I used to do all types of work like that. I don't do that anymore. But it felt like I'm still me, but it's almost like your consciousness takes kind of like a backseat a little bit, but you're still conscious. Like you don't just like, you're still checked in. But it's like my energy takes a backseat because I have very like fairy and unicorn energy that I work with. So that would take a backseat, and then it would almost feel like a whole new kind of like energy that you're channeling within yourself. Like maybe it's like warrior energy, or when I was channeling like spirit animals, it would be like a lion would have like very bold and courageous type of energy. So you're imbuing that into your energy field, and it just feels like kind of like not a personality shift necessarily, but just like an energy shift within you. But you're still conscious. But then there's another type of channeling where like I channel people's higher selves and inner children in different timelines. So it's almost like there's two conversations going on. There's me as Sage, the healer that has a background in like psychology and Reiki and light language and my shamanic practices and Akashic record stuff. But then there's this whole other conversation that's going on that's from your higher self or inner children. So it's almost like two different consciousnesses that are going at the same time. And I had to learn how to differentiate between what's me and what's that other person's stuff that they got going on, right? So that came with repetition. Like just keep on doing readings and lives and clients and things, and it's like a whole different personality that's talking over here. Things that I wouldn't say necessarily, if that makes sense. But there's so many different types of channeling, so you'd have to kind of like narrow it down more to what type of channeling. But like oracle cards is channeling, tarot. There are different frequencies that you're tapping into, right? Can you tell us about your first spiritual awakening or how you got to this point? Yeah, that feels like a million years ago. I can feel when things steal my thoughts. Probably need to tighten up your energy field. You probably need to be working on energetic boundaries more, because I understand what you're saying. That used to happen to me, and I had to learn how to tighten up my energy field so that didn't happen. Sometimes it happens when I'm around people that I'm very comfortable with, and I have an open energy field, and we can hear each other telepathically, right? But I don't allow that with people that are not my people. If that makes sense. But I had to learn how to do that through strengthening my energy field and holding better energetic boundaries. And energetic boundaries are different than interpersonal boundaries. Okay, spiritual awakening. So in 2015 I went to a music festival and I was homeschooled when I was younger, and I grew up very sheltered in like an oppressive religious household. And then I got into like a narcissistic relationship for a long time, abusive relationship. And so when I got out of that, or no, I was still in it. And then I went to this music festival, and I was like, wow, the world is not what I thought it was, like at all. Like everything that I had been told was basically a lie. And I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden I just had these like paradigms start breaking down inside of me, okay? Before I knew anything about spirituality, like, period. But I was going through almost like a life crisis situation. And then I fell back asleep, okay? And that is when I went down the deep hole of party mode, okay? Because I was like, oh, I'm free, right? From this internal matrix that I had built within me from, you know, society and parents and all that stuff. And so then in 2017 is when I like woke up. And that was a very scary, dark time in my life, because I went through an oh, I didn't know you fell back asleep. I thought you could never go back after you wake. Once you're like, oh, there's times where people like hit the precipice of an awakening, but they're not ready yet, but they get kind of like a glimpse of it, and then but then there's one that's like, oh, well, now I can't go back. That was me in 2017. But I've seen people that get those precipice hits, and they're not ready yet, but it's almost like sneak previews to prepare them. Okay. So anyway, so in 2017 is when I woke up, and that was a wild journey. I had the biggest tower moment. Everything in my life got stripped away from me. I was in a dark night of the soul. I was in an extremely depressive state. And that's when all my channeling abilities hit as well. And that's why I always tell people, like, I teach practices now of, hey, we don't want to rush those things, because if you don't have an understanding of what those things are or how to handle them, it can really throw your 3D life for a loop. Like, that's not stuff that we just want to rocket launch ourselves into. But who knows, maybe you do, because apparently I wanted to, so right? But it's because when your consciousness, when you have this whole reality that you think is a certain way, and then all of a sudden you find out it's not, it's very scary, because it feels like your whole foundation has just been rocked. And it's like, well, what do I do from here, right? Thoughts on plant medicine? I'm pro plant medicine. I think plant medicine can be very beneficial in helping you heal, but I think that you have to be very mindful of the type of person that you are and what place and space you are in life, right? Because I use plant medicine in my journey, and that's what threw me into the dark night of the soul. Okay, so you just have to be mindful about that. So anyway, so in 2017, I had been through so much trauma in my life, and I had just been like ignoring my healing journey, just filling my plate up with all these things that distract me from all the pain that I had within me. And so that dark night of the soul, it really just stripped everything out of my life and made me do like a hard reset. And it really made me face myself and my shadows, because that's all I had left. And so I had to go on like this very intensive self-love journey and self-awareness journey and face all those shadows, and then come out on the other side. And then when I came out on the other side, I was like, oh, I really want to help other people traverse through this, because I didn't have anybody to traverse it with. And I was like, that was very intense and scary. Okay, so then I started helping people on their spiritual awakening journeys, like when they first woke up, and we're helping teach people, because I had a background in psychology and mental health as well. Like I worked in a mental health ward for a while and did various other things. So I was helping teach people how to, these are very different than what I do now, but I was helping teach people how to leave narcissistic relationships or how to heal from those, how to be an empath or a light worker, how to manage being neurodivergent, how to hold boundaries, and how to heal people pleasing and imposter syndrome, and a lot of more like 3D work, basically helping people step more into their like confidence and their sovereignty, and just know like, hey, there is more magic available for you in life, but you have to work through all this stuff first, right? Because that's what I had to do. I had to like upchuck all of that stuff within me in order to get out on the other side. And I had lived with severe anxiety and depression and an eating disorder and body dysmorphia. I had some addiction things going on from my party years. Okay. And I had to heal all those things, and I did. And then I was like, okay, now I want to go help people with that stuff. That's not what I do now necessarily, but that was a large portion of my spiritual awakening journey. And helping people with those things was helping me, because it was keeping me accountable. Because I'm like, well, I can't tell people this stuff and not do it myself. And also, I was just having this thought yesterday of, because I'm an Akashic record reader, I'm actually expanding my own records by being in other people's records, which was a very interesting thought. And I was like, I picked up so many tools and resources from being in so many people's fields and then helping them. Just a very interesting concept. I was like, oh, my Akashic records is like so you haven't had a conventional 9-to-5 job for a while then? Yeah, it's been a while. Like, I exited that matrix a while ago. The last job that I had, or jobs that I had, I was, because I didn't always do this full time, I do now. Because there's just a lot of layers and things that you have to heal within self to be able to get to that point, if that makes sense. So I owned a doggy daycare for 7 years. That was great. Love that. Wait a minute. Watching your growth has been inspiring. I've learned so much from you. Oh, thank you, Tanya. I appreciate that. Thank you. I had a doggy daycare, and then I sold my half of the business when I was having my dark night of the soul. I was like, I can't be here anymore. Gotta go. And then I ended up being a bar manager for a while, and then I went to go work at a nonprofit for underprivileged youth, for underprivileged girls, and then I became the program manager for there for a while. And then I went and worked back in the daycare as just a manager there, because I really needed to hunker down on my business, my spiritual business. And then I left there, and then I was doing like odd jobs, like gig work and stuff, while I was working on the business. And then I went full time. So it's been a while since I've had like a conventional job, because I just do this now. Or not just do this, but I do this now. But it's been a journey in and of itself as well. Because when you're a spiritual entrepreneur, a lot of times people aren't taking into account the entrepreneurial side of it. Like, there's a lot of different skills that you have to teach yourself, like marketing, social media, like 3D human stuff like taxes, how to pitch yourself, how to not sell yourself, but like sell your services, how to put coaching and mentorship programs together, how to build the tools and resources that you need in order to help other people, and continuing your education. And like there's so many different facets that come to that. So I wasn't in a place to fully launch into full time, because I had all of those things that those fundamental foundational things that I had to learn in the beginning. What an amazing journey. Thank you for sharing. Oh yeah, you're all y'all are welcome. Thank you for asking. It seems like it was a million years ago. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick, but I will be right back. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Okay, thank you for holding. I have always kind of found a way around working for people, if that makes sense. Like in 9 to 5 matrix things. Let me light this instance and I'll talk about that. Because I don't like being told what to do. Especially from like micromanagers and things like that. I have a, I don't know if it's because I'm an Aquarian or, you know, whatever, but let me, okay. Why aren't you staying lit? Okay, anyway, when I went to go work at the bar, I was just going there so I could like do something after I had sold the business, because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta be doing something, because I'm not a type of person that can just like not do things. So I went there and I was just working as a bartender, and then I ended up being the bar manager in like 6 months. And then I went to go work at that nonprofit. And then, like, me being the bar manager, I was just making my own schedule and, like, running whatever. And then when I went to go work at the nonprofit, I was a program, like, I was a teacher. And then I got promoted to work with, well, I was working, like, with the 1st grade to 5th grade. And then I got promoted and started working within schools. Working with middle schoolers, and then I was pretty much on my own, like a solo dolo person, and then I got promoted to program manager, and at that point I was just like running the stuff. So I've always kind of been able to work within my own paradigm within working for other people. Like, I've just always gravitated towards those things. So but you have to put in a lot of work to be able to do that, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be a very dedicated, motivated, forward-thinking person in order to get yourself within those positions within different companies. It is very beneficial because then you don't have to have a micromanager over you. It was a lot of hard work those years. If y'all have any other questions, you can feel free to put them in here. I do shift work as a nurse, and it's such a broken system and just not support holistic wellness. Yeah, there's a lot of clients that I come across that are energy healers or coaches that used to be nurses for that specific reason. They decide to go on the different path so that they have more free will over how they can help the people that want that type of like holistic health and wellness option. And so that you can be your own boss and do the things that you want to do. I'm feeling that, yeah. Plus being an empath and a light worker in a service-based industry can be very taxing on yourself, because it's just so much chaotic energy, especially like as a nurse, I would imagine. I know when I was at the bar, it was very wild. Very wild. Or even working with the kids, like that was wild too. There's just so much chaotic energy everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna go back up here and see if I missed anything. But that's also why I like helping people get into their own spiritual businesses so they can exit those kind of like matrices and go work for themselves and do the things that they want to do. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna hop off now. I think I have some definite content for some videos coming up here in a little bit. I think I'm gonna talk about the alarm system as well. Okay, so I do one-on-one sessions. I also have a mentorship program if anybody resonated with my personality or my teachings, or you want to dive deeper into your Akashic Records, soul contract, or just get on your most optimal timeline or learn about your spiritual gifts. That's what the one-on-one sessions are for, and my mentorship program. And you can find the information in my bio up here or in the description box below. All right, everybody, I will see you next time, and have a great day. Bye.